FlossTube. Welcome back. This is Robin and welcome to my channel, Lady Robins. I am really happy that you're here with me today. It is Tuesday the 23rd of February. This is my FlossTube and this is episode number 65. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I am excited that you're here. I hope you find enjoyment in talking about cross stitch because that's what I do. Returning subscribers, welcome. Thank you for coming back yet again. And don't forget, I'm also Lady Robins on Instagram, so you can follow me in two places if you're interested. What have I been up to this week? Stitching! Not quite as much stitching as the week before, I will confess. I did have one evening where I was just too knocked out from running around all day and work, so I have one less day of stitching to show off than normal. Those things happen, right? Yep, they happen. It's all right. Stitching still happened. I got some good progress on some whips. I will break those out. Before we get rolling, if you've been here a while, you know it's mug of the day. I thought I'd show off one of my Disney ones. I don't think I've shown this one in a while, so we'll start on the back side and run around to the front. This is Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, they've done two versions of Disney's Animal Kingdom. I was not lucky enough to grab a version 1 mug, so this is version 2, but it's fine. I like my mugs. I don't know if you can see that, got nothing interesting in there. Once again, I got water. That's okay. It's good for my body to have some water. You guys, this will probably be a little bit quicker video. I have the tiniest haul you ever did see, so that will be perfectly quick. All right, so I have got my 24 hours of acrostic calendar here, and I try to keep track every day of what I stitched on. So this week I stitched on, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I stitched on 5 different pieces, so let's go through them. Also, if you have followed me before, you know that this year I am doing Whip Go, and I have now completed all of my Whip Go goals for February. So I'm feeling pretty stoked about my stitching progress. So one of the pieces that came up on my Whip Go board this month was Playing with Jacks by the Cricut Collection. So here's the chart, and I have now completed the cross stitching on all of the pumpkins. I am so excited. When last we met, I'm just going to fold this in half, I had just started on this kind of black, white, and gray pumpkin, and I finished it off. Yeah, so there is some long stitches, I think that's what you call it, to go on that pumpkin, so I still have to do that. And then there's, I think of it as on the bottom here, kind of like a little shelf. So I have to do that shelf, do some back stitching and those long stitches. So it's not completed by any means. I still have quite a bit of good stitching left on this, but the big part, those pumpkins, are done, and I'm so happy with how this looks. I can hardly wait for a finish, which I probably said every time I pull this out. But this will definitely be an FFO by fall. That's my goal, is to have this completed and framed and ready for display by the fall. And I'm on track for doing that. So that was my first whip that I worked on, and my goals for Whip Go is to spend a minimum of 5 days of stitching on whatever the called for pieces are. So this completed my 5 days of stitching on Playing with Jacks. I don't know if I'm feeling more stitching on this one this week or not. I've got a couple other things that are kind of calling my name. So this one might get set aside for a little bit, but it won't be forever. Won't be forever because, like I said, my goal is to have an FFO in the fall on that guy. Okay, so what happened after I stitched on Playing with Jacks? The next thing I decided that I needed to tackle was a restart on Sense and Sensibility. If you saw my FlossTube, my last FlossTube, 64, 65 minus 1, 64. Math is hard sometimes. Anyway, I was not satisfied with how my piece was looking. And so the beautiful Kristen, who is part of Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts and the genius behind the Stitching Book Club, she was so kind. She charted it in 2 colorways, and one is for stitching it on a beautiful, beautiful blue fabric or stitching it on white. So I didn't get a hold of a kit, which is okay. I'm not complaining. No complaints here. You know, you can only do what you can do. And so I pulled this blue fabric out of my stash, and this is a beautiful fabric that is dyed by Brandy at BeStitchMe, and this one's called Sleet. I think last video I called it Slate. It's not Slate, Sleet, S-L-E-E-T, Robin. Anyway, I started this, and because it was a blue fabric, I started stitching on it with what was charted for the blue fabric. Turns out this yummy fabric by Brandy must be a little bit lighter than what Kristen offered in her kits. And so I was having a problem with my stitching just disappearing. There's a lot of white stitches in the blue colorway. So I had been, you know, I'm always on Instagram. I was looking through Instagram, and a brilliant soul on Instagram started doing the colorway for white fabric on a light blue fabric, and it looked spectacular, spectacular. So, you know, copy. That's what I have done. I pulled everything out and I re-stitched on my beautiful light blue fabric, but the colorway for the white fabric. I adore that blue flower. That is fantastic. It shows up perfectly. I couldn't be happier with how this is going. So this is one of those pieces that's probably going to get stitched on this week because this thing is calling my name. But I just wanted to show you how cool that white colorway is on my BeStitchMe Sleet colored fabric. And this fabric was one of the fabric of the months from Brandy's Floss of the Month Club. And so I don't know if this is something that you can purchase through her shop. You know, obviously go check out her website and her shop if this beautiful color is calling your name. But it's looking great. I'm happy with how it's turning out. Also, I've been listening to Sense and Sensibility on audiobook. And you guys, I can't stop listening. It's supposed to be, you know, we read so many chapters, and then when the next part of this is a stitch along, the stitch along drops, then there's a discussion day for, you know, like chapters, I don't know, pick your numbers, 1 through 6 or 1 through 20 or whatever the heck it is. I'm on chapter like 42. I am thoroughly enjoying the reader. I picked, I'm listening to it on audiobook, and I have an audible.com subscription, and so I'm listening to the one read by Rosamund Pike. She's fantastic. If you're needing to listen to it on audio, and there's a ton of people that have read that, let me tell you, her reading is fantastic. And in fact, I just spotted on Audible that she has also read Pride and Prejudice, and I'm gonna use one of my monthly credits, and I'm gonna purchase that as well and listen to that. I like Sense and Sensibility. I love Pride and Prejudice, so I'm gonna have to have a little Jane Austen thing going on here. Okay, so that was WIP number 2 for this week that I worked on. Of course, I worked on Harbor Haven. Let's see how I'm doing on Harbor Haven. So I am finishing out the tree. So I'm not exactly sure when last I showed this. I think the complete dark brown for the tree trunk and the branch had been completed. I think that's where I was at. So now I'm working on filling in the big leaves, and then of course I'll have to do these cute little flowery things because it matches, each side matches, and then get to put some yummy water in. So that is where I'm at on Harbor Haven. I always forget, you guys, to talk about my fabric and what flosses I'm using. I do put that in the description box down below. I like to stitch on 32 count, 2/2. That's what I'm doing on this. And this is, what is this called? This is called Seafoam, and I believe it's by R&R. No, this is a Weeks Dye Works fabric. Is that right? Yeah, Weeks fabric. So anyway, I am, that's what I'm doing this on. And look at how much I have on the bottom. I'm going to have tons left over for other small projects when I am finished with this. In fact, I've actually been thinking maybe I should trim it off instead of managing all that much fabric in my hand. But so far I don't have any other things that I want to stitch on this same color blue, so I'll just leave it alone until something piques my interest. Okay, so WIP number 3, Harbor Haven, and that's my other WIP Go piece, was Harbor Haven was what was called, and I have done my 5 days on Harbor Haven. So I think Harbor Haven is probably going to get at least one more day this month. That's a problem with February is you have a few less days, so you don't have quite as much stitching time ahead of you. So I always feel a little frantic in February because I'm like, oh, I'm not getting as much progress, but we've got 2 or 3 days less month than other months, so that's why it seems that way. Anyway, I don't know if you feel the same about February, but I'm always like, oh, I don't have quite enough stitching time. Okay, enough of that. So I sat down and I started my owl forest. You see that? And this is the pattern called Hyperborea, and I'm using everything that came in the kit. So this wonderful blue fabric and all of the yummy flosses that come in the kit. But I started it in the center, so I'm working on the owl. And so the center is kind of like to the right edge of the bottom of his tail feathers. So I'm working up that way. And I've already made a mistake. I have to frog. And it's actually making me slightly nervous because I'm sure there's enough floss to finish it, but I'm not sure there's enough floss for me to not back it out carefully and reuse it. So I'm gonna carefully frog, so hopefully I don't completely shred the floss so I can redo it. I'd forgotten how hard it is to stitch from the bottom up like that, from a center start like that. Oh, I should have just counted from, you know, up to the top of the owl and stitched down as opposed to starting at the bottom and trying to go up. Ugh, my brain hurts trying to do that. So anyway, wish me luck on a little frogging, because I sure don't want to run out of floss from this kit. Yeah, so gotta be a little more careful. And one thing I did do, because, you know, I made the mistake, is I took my pattern in and I made myself a photocopy so that I can sit there with my pencil and I can cross lines off one after another, which is what I used to do when I first started cross stitching. You know, my old charts are a royal mess. I couldn't share a chart with somebody because you wouldn't want to have to figure out what was going on and what all this mess is. So yeah, I'm one of those. I probably will never pass this stash because you don't want to see the nonsense that I get up to. Okay, so one more whip to go, and it's a start and a finish. I have a little finish, and it's little and it's cute, and it's for St. Patrick's Day, and it was a freebie. It's a freebie from Helen D, who, if you check her out on Instagram, is eastcoast.crafter. eastcoast.crafter. She created this adorable chart for St. Patrick's Day. Shamrocks, rainbows, leprechauns, pot o' gold. Isn't that cute? So she stitched it up. I think she said she stitched it up in a day. You know me, I'm a little slower. It took me 2 days. But she stitched it up. She finished it into an adorable pillow. I want to do the same. And this is where my purchase for the week comes in. I did not buy any cross stitch patterns. I didn't, you know, download a PDF. I went out and found myself some beautiful shamrock fabric at Joann's today. But what's interesting is I am lucky that there are 2 quilt shops within 10 minutes of my house. You know, one going east, one going west, right? And so I was out with my mom. We went and got our hair cut together and had a nice little time, which was fun. And then I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to find some, you know, fabric that have shamrocks on it for this finish I want to do." So we went to the first quilting store, and they had a few more novelty type fabrics and no shamrocks. You know, they had the big ones. They had Christmas stuff. They actually had some stuff for Valentine's Day. They had a few things that had bunnies on it for Easter. No shamrocks. But I couldn't leave this behind at that first quilt shop. Look at this. Look at that. Tulips, which are my favorite flower. My absolute favorite flower. So anyway, I spotted this, you know, in the pre-cut bin, in the fat quarter bin or what, you know, and I thought, oh, those are so cute. So I thought I might have to have that because it's tulips. Then I opened it up, and there's this adorable rabbit. Sold. Write me up. So I bought that at the first quilt shop. Second quilt shop, same thing, no shamrocks. However, I made a discovery. Both of those quilting shops carry the Cosmo Floss, which I keep hearing Jean Farish rave about, and they've got it. So if you're looking for an interesting floss, you might want to check out your quilt shop. I had no idea. They both have Cosmo Floss, Aurifil, and oh, those balls of floss. What are they called? Valdani? Valdani. They had those. And then the second quilt shop that I was at, they've started carrying DMC. So if Joann's doesn't have it, I can go to this quilt shop. I was thrilled to find out that those things were available to me, 10 minutes outside of my house. I thought I'd have to, special order them. And you can buy them, one skein at a time. The only thing I didn't see, I was kind of hoping that maybe they would have, these guys. What are these guys called? The sulky. I was hoping one of them would carry sulky. Neither one did, but that's okay. I don't do much with sulky yet anyway, so I'm okay. But I was thrilled to find a venue for those other flosses, which I've been curious about. So, you guys, those are my whips. Couple half yards of fabric. That's my purchase. Let me tell you what I'm reading. Besides listening to Sense and Sensibility, I have picked up myself a cozy mystery. If you like a good cozy, Ellie Alexander has written a series of cozy mysteries. If you are in the Washington State area, you will know the name of Leavenworth, Washington. These cozy mysteries are set in the town of Leavenworth. I am having the best time. This is the first one, Death on Tap. If you need a cozy mystery, I highly recommend Death on Tap by Ellie Alexander. I am having the best time, and if you can see here, I'm almost done. I've got like 5 chapters left to go, and I'll see who did the murder. So there's your book recommendation for the week. You will be happy to know I have bobbinated half of that floss I've got on the screaming deal at Joann's before the snowstorm. So half done, half to go. Yep, my bobbinating is getting there. It's kind of fun to see my trays get jammed full with all that lovely DMC. So that's all I got for you, you guys. It's a quick one. Slide in, say hi, show off my stuff. Tell me in the comments what you're working on. And I hope you have a good week. Things are going good around here. So yeah, things are good. All right, I am gonna go watch, what is it? Amazon Prime. My husband and I discovered a show that's airing on Prime right now. It's an old PBS series called The Durrells on Corfu. C-O-R-F-U. If you haven't seen this, it is charming. It is so charming. We are having the best time. If you need something to watch and stream, I would also suggest The Durrells on Corfu. It's on Amazon Prime right now. So there you go. Have a great stitchy week, you guys. I am going to stitch probably on Harbor Haven again. I think I'm going to break out the Waffle-Lot SAL. I need to work a little more on Sense and Sensibility. And then, because I started Cardinal Points on Leap Day, which is in February, I'm probably going to stitch on Cardinal Points this weekend to give that guy a little love, since it's close to its birthday. And beyond that, we'll see what happens. All right, you guys, have a fantastic evening. I hope, well, it's evening here right now while I'm filming. I hope things are going well in your world, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye. Thanks for stopping in. See ya.